Fair use.
Most Americans, and by most Americans, I mean mostly so-called white Americans, they get upset. They get upset when they see my talks. They get all sorts of negative emotions when I talk about the dismantling of America, the decline of America, the collapse of the United States, and so forth, the downgrading, the demotion of America as a global power. They get sad. They get hopeless. They get depressed, or they get defensive, or they get despondent. And I understand why. I understand why, because it has historically been their system. They got enough benefit from that system to make them actually believe more deeply in the myths around that system. Because of course it was a myth. It's always been a myth. It's never been anything but a myth. But they believed in it. The truth is, they didn't enjoy benefits in that society because of democracy and freedom. They enjoyed benefits in that society because of mass murder. They enjoyed benefits in that society because of pillage, because of slavery and piracy and exploitation, and because of war and brutality. But they always thought that Uncle Sam was on their side, you see? They thought that they were the favorite nephew of their Uncle Sam. So when they see Uncle Sam, or when they hear me talk about Uncle Sam being amputated piece by piece, it grieves them. You understand me? So I understand why the erosion of America, or the erosion of the myth of America, I understand why that bothers them, and why they get all up in arms about it. I understand it. I understand why they get depressed. I understand why their feelings get hurt. There is no more indoctrinated people. There's no more brainwashed and no more psychologically and culturally misprogrammed people on the face of this earth than so-called white Americans. Country here refers to one specific demographic. It means ask not what white people can do for you, ask what you can do for white people. Yes, that's what it meant. Asian Americans or Muslim Americans or anybody else. Country here refers to one specific demographic. It means ask not what white people can do for you, ask what you can do for white people. Yes, that's what it meant. That's what it means. Like I said, they identify with the country and they identify the country with them. And that's the only reason why they identify with the country. That's the only reason why they actually identify with the country, because the country has always meant them. So the minute it does not mean them, they're booking their flights out. They're booking their flights out of there. I told you they don't believe in anything. Listen to me. They believe in a full belly. That's what they believe in. They believe in what a wolf believes in. I'm not being racist. I'm not trying to generalize about white people. I'm not saying that they're genetically predisposed to that or something. I'm saying that their culture has let them down as human beings. Their culture, their system has betrayed them. It has betrayed them by never cultivating them, by never civilizing them properly, by teaching them that cheating and the stealing and pillaging and appropriating and exploiting, by teaching them that violence and colonization and so on, that all of these things are viable, sustainable, acceptable pursuits, and that they don't inevitably lead to where they have led, to the situation that they're in now. They were lied to, and they believed it. They were lied to. They believed that they were told that skin color is a metric of value. Skin color is a metric of superiority or inferiority. They were taught that what you do has no consequences. You understand? They were taught that predation and plunder are actually successful, sustainable life strategies. And of course, this goes back to Europe. This goes back to Europe and their whole culture. I mean, until today, you all talk about your so-called enlightenment. Enlightenment. The era in which you fully developed your absolutely most grotesque concepts of your so-called Western civilization. Literally the period when you came up with all of the theories and all of the philosophies and all of the models that fueled and that justified all of the crimes that you were committing at that time and all of your future crimes. White supremacy, racism, colonialism, imperialism, genocide, chattel slavery, wage slavery, the idea that the human being is nothing but an input for business, nothing but a resource for extraction, materialism, relativism, atheism, on and on. You call that enlightenment. You call that enlightenment until today. You brag about it. You're proud of it. When And that whole period, all of the intellectual output of that period was just to manufacture rationales for being savage, for being brutal, and for being ruthless. To make all those inhuman traits and all those inhuman behaviors sound intellectual and sophisticated. Well, how did you think that was going to end? How did you think that was going to end? Where did you think that was heading? You never did anything in your history but purchase the consequences that you are facing today. And worse is forthcoming. The point is that they are unprepared. That particular demographic is unprepared for what is coming to that country. They have no coping skills. They have no community. They barely even have families. You know, when you have enjoyed unearned privilege, when you've enjoyed unearned authority, well, what do you think happens when the time comes when you have to actually earn it? You have to actually earn it now, but you never actually learned the requisite skills, the discipline, the work ethic, the wisdom, the sacrifice, and so on. Well, it's very easy to predict how that's going to turn out. It's very easy to predict how that's going to go. I said the tables are turning. The tables are turning, or more accurately, we're entering the consequences phase. I know I've talked about this before, but look at the birth rate. Subhanallah. You cannot tell me that this is not a divine a manifestation of divine justice in and of itself. Imagine a people, a whole people, a nation, committing self-genocide, self-extinction by their own logic. Think about it. They're dying out. They're dying out as a direct result of the way they think about life. Their philosophies, their theories, their paradigms, their enlightenment. Their enlightenment built a system, built a society, built an economic model, an approach to the economy, built an approach to life that makes them not want to reproduce, or else makes it they don't want to reproduce, or they can't reproduce because it's too expensive. Their way of thinking is causing them to go extinct. Their way of thinking is causing them to go extinct. But they still think it's the right way to think. They still think it's enlightened, even while it is erasing them. Look at this madness. Tell me that's not a curse that they brought upon themselves. Tell me that's not divine justice in action.